Trip Morning Show back with you on The Fan. Max Fuller, John Creasel, Mark Parrish hanging out with you, filling in for hockey, Corey Saucy, and Halvey as they get ready to head to Sin City. And we are also joined by the lovely and talented Ben Leber. Ben, how's it going, brother?
It's going so well. It's good to see you guys. Perry, haven't seen you in a while. Creasel, haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Max, I see you in my dreams every night.
You too, Ben. You too. Hopefully it's not like Freddy Krueger type of dreams.
No.
Wet ones?
Gentle?
Wow. Yeah, they are. I certainly wake up drenched, and I'll just let you figure that out. You know, that could be both a scary dream and a really good dream. You know,
we'll let the listeners decide.
Yeah, it's all up for
choose
interpretation.
Your own adventure book
for sure. You guys are doing great, Max. You're doing such a good job.
Hey, thanks, man. I was really nervous this morning. I mean, I get nervous no matter how long I've been doing this job. I get nervous no matter what. Like I had full on mud butt this morning. Like when I get nervous, it just starts coming out, man. Like it was like one of those ones where you got to take your shirt off, you know, like get butt naked on the toilet. Like, it was real bad.
It's the same thing for me when I would do any sort of performance. I don't know about you guys, but like I was actually just talking to my daughter about this yesterday because she had a track meet and she, you know, nobody wants to run the 400, but she's decent and she's good at it. So it's like her main event, and she's like, I was so nervous yesterday before school. And I'm like I was nervous. Like I had freaking mud butt every time, like every football game, every track meet. And then I shared a story with her. I was like, the fastest I've ever ran in the 100-meter dash, I literally crossed the finish line, butt squirted, and it was thankfully a home meet, and my house was about 2 blocks from the high school. So I kept jogging all the way around.
Yeah. Forrest Gump. Yeah. Yeah.
I just kept jogging all the way around. Didn't congratulate any of the racers, and jumped on my bike, went home, changed, and came back.
And wiped that seat off.
Yeah. Well, she has the same thing. She's like, you sat? I'm like, no. I was like standing like hill climbing the whole way home. Yeah.
That was during the physical testing, each year. It was a guarantee at some point I was sprinting to that bathroom. Like I was cutting off whatever what was supposed to be timed for, however many squat jumps.
Yeah.
If it was in the middle of the skating drills, no matter what, at some point, Mark was bowing out halfway through and had to get back. Yeah. He was like, sorry. You guys don't want to clean this up on the ice.
Oh, my God.
It's coming, and I got no choice. Sorry, I got an F on this version or whatever the squats you wanted.
Ben or Mark, did it ever hit you mid-game? Like where you got the mud butt?
No.
Or it was always before the game?
For me, it was always before.
Yeah, usually before. It was funny, like Kenny Onsen, there was always seemed to be someone on the team that you were on the same rotation. Your stomachs were just through, you were on the same thing, and it was like Kenny Onsen for the New York Islanders, and we were always sitting next to each other about 5 minutes before warm up, like it's just hit you. Yep, it hit me.
Yeah, it's a wild thing to go through it. That by the time you become a professional, you get to that level. You've really like dialed in like what makes you like tick and what makes you feel the best before a game. And so you get all your nutrition right, and you eat at a certain time because you don't want. A lot of guys, you don't want food in your stomach when either the puck drops or we kick off or whatever. We had a player, and I won't name who it is. He timed up his Metamucil intake for a noon football game, so he could just drop the largest loaf possible. Like he wanted those pipes scraped clean.
Before Kirk is not a prime time.
I think we figured it out. That's next level game theory right there.
Yeah.
Time it out.
He would time it out. It would just be like, all right, he'd wake up in the morning, he'd have his little breakfast, he'd have his coffee, and then we'd be on the way to the game. He's like, yep, it's primed and ready to go.
Let's go.
You just walk right in the locker room. Sometimes you got to wait in line because other guys are doing the same thing. And,
That must be why the airport bathrooms are, because of nerves. Because every time I go to the airport, the sounds in that men's room. It's like a monster truck rally.
Yeah, like you almost want to call TSA. Like, I think there's a terrorist next to me in this stall.
Right. Yeah, I think all of ISIS is in here right now. And I'm always like, what the hell? What's going on? What do people eat? But it must just be nerves if people are nervous.
Which is even more disgusting when you think about that senator that was toe tapping people under the stalls.
You
know what that guy's doing next door? He's destroying that porcelain, and you want to get in that?
Those bathrooms. That was our bathroom. He smelt the Metamucil.
Yeah, he heard the sounds and was like, you know what? Yeah, I can make some sweet music with that.
I thought we didn't kink shame here. There's no kink shaming here, right?
That's true.
How about you, Chris? Do you ever get nervous before speeches or anything like that, or you're so locked in at this point? Like,
I get butterflies because I've always said if I stop having that feeling, then it's time to stop doing it.
Yeah.
I think the one I had in the Venetian Las Vegas, the whole theater was full.
Woo.
It was 1,400 people. Awesome. It was for a big company, a big local company, and it was backstage. And you can't see the crowd, but you see the screen of who's on there before, like the CEO getting everyone fired up, all that in a legit green room. And this is where they have actual shows in the Venetian. And then I go out there and I was like, holy smokes. I knew there was going to be a lot of people, but see them, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Then you just try and soak it in. But yeah, I didn't have to deuce, thankfully.
You're not a nervous dookie taker?
No.
Yeah. So butterflies did not turn into mudbutt.
Yeah.
No.
Good.
It's a caterpillar. It went reverse.
Can you consider yourself
reverse metamorphosis?
The cocoon.
Let's jump back into what really matters. I'll give you the latest sports and stats, and Ben Leber will fill the role of Chris Hockey.
Yeah. Give me a second.
And tell you something interesting. I'll give you some wild news first, presented by Catalyst Supply and CatalystSupplyCo.com. The Wild were officially eliminated from playoff contention after losing to the Avalanche 5-2 last night. Avalanche player Nathan McKinnon notched his 7th career hat trick. The Wild will miss the playoffs for just the second time since 2013. But what really matters is this.
This is interesting, guys. Not sure if you guys heard this. Kind of hot, too, you know? Well, according to historians, there actually were female gladiators in ancient Rome. A female gladiator was called a gladiatrix. They're extremely rare, unlike their male counterparts.
Wow. We were
that's why Rosie said he went to the gladiatrix last week.
They're talking, we were talking about the girl fight earlier, Max.
Yeah.
One of the more. What is it? Since high school, I thought I'd grow out of it or mature out of it. There's something when girls fight you still want to watch.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just way more. If it's a couple guys, I'm like, whatever.
Seen that amount
but
a million
you see
times.
a couple girls, it's like, all right, I'm in for this. I got a few minutes to spare here. Yeah, like this has got to be over something real big.
Yeah, I can push my meeting back a couple minutes. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Gladiatrix.
I
like that.
They should make that. I heard they're making a sequel to the Gladiator movie. They should make Gladiatrix.
I got another movie mention next.
Not entertained?
Are you like not entertained? Ja Morant finally got a win, but it wasn't for the Grizzlies. It was in court. A Tennessee judge ruled Monday that the Grizzlies superstar fairly raised self-defense in a lawsuit filed by the teenager that he punched in July 2022. So that means either Ja Morant has a lot of money, which is true, or a teenager must have done something really just stupid. You punched a teenager in the face and you're still not at fault?
You're a professional athlete. You punched a kid.
Right. Like, how do you not get charged with that? So I wonder what evidence Ja Morant and his team had. But what really matters is this.
You guys know the Avengers, right? Know them? Love them?
Very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
All right. So you may know them that they broke box office records with movies. But get this. The Avengers, the quote-unquote the Avengers, was also a group of Jewish assassins who hunted Nazi war criminals after World War II. They poisoned 2,283 German prisoners of war. Now that's a movie.
That's awesome. That's
so
badass.
Yeah. That is.
How has that not been made a movie?
I don't
yet?
know.
I feel like we've
more
seen
well known.
World War II from almost every angle at this point. So how is that not? I mean, that's kind of Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, exactly.
But man, that would be a sweet movie.
Oh yeah.
Jewish assassins, huh? Well, what really matters is that, and also this. Everybody poo-pooed Musk during the Masters bet yesterday, but Tiger Woods, the 15-time major champion, says that he thinks he's still got one more in him. The 48-year-old is building his way back after suffering injuries in a car wreck in 2021. You guys think Tiger Woods has any shot, any realistic shot at all to make some noise in the Masters?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but not this year. I mean, maybe he's still got one more in him. Maybe, but it ain't this year.
Right. But now at
Ain't
some
this
point, I mean, he's, 45, 46 now?
Well,
It's gotta be now or never.
You would still think, but he's, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was, kind of thing.
Hot cut, by the way.
You never know, man. I mean, Ben, you see it with athletes. It's just one weekend, and it's Tiger Woods. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised if he still pulls one off. But it's not going to be this weekend because Rory's going to do it.
I mean, if anything, it'd be awesome if he was in it on Sunday.
It would be.
Just competing.
Just competing.
Well, I mean, it tells you when it's, he made the cut. That's telling you, all right, when people are excited that he just made the cut, that ship has sailed. No, it's awesome. I'm glad he's there. And it would be awesome if he did it and he was in contention on Sunday. But, I mean, 2019, which was 5 years ago, when he won, that was super improbable.
Yeah.
And so now, I don't know. It would be the best. I regret not appreciating him more back in the day.
Yeah.
We took him for granted.
Yeah, you kind of think because it's golf, like he'll be around forever, right?
Yeah.
Like he'll win 1 million more, but that just wasn't the case with all the different scandals and injuries.
And I luckily,
I can't believe that we all buried Tiger Woods and ostracized him just because he was freaking.
Right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with being a little freak?
There's a hell of a lot worse addictions out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot worse. Let me tell you.
You know something about that?
And God bless him. I mean, the guy would be it sounded like a room full. It would be like a UFC or Royal Rumble. And then he'd get up and shoot 7 under par.
Lights out.
Geez, I can't stay up drinking, have a breakfast burrito, and shoot anywhere near par.
He's a machine. He's a machine.
But what really matters is this.
Oh, guys, what could have been Abraham Lincoln. You guys know Abraham Lincoln?
Heard of him? Old Honest Abe.
He could have been in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. 6'4" president. Only had one loss among his 300 contests. He earned a reputation in his New Salem, Illinois as an elite fighter.
His only loss was to Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
His only loss was to a bullet.
John Wilkes Booth by TKO. Dang, I know it's like wrestling like Greco-Roman wrestling, but
it's wrestling. Back then it was wrestling.
Wrestling. But I picture it as him being like a WWE wrestler, coming out there and cutting promos on people. How great would that be seeing Abe Lincoln as an actual WWE wrestler?
With the hat?
Yeah, with the hat and everything.
No shirt, though. He's got the pants, the suspenders, and the hat. I can picture this now. Kind of a street fighter background, people watching. There will be a couple vehicles and
horse-drawn wagon.
Yeah, the horse-drawn wagon would be the vehicle.
Yeah,
that'd be a good bit. There's any wrestlers, aspiring wrestlers out there. You might want to try the Abe Lincoln bit.
It was successful.
Just don't go to any plays. Just please don't go to any plays. Prior to the game yesterday, the Wolves announced that Karl Anthony Towns has been cleared for full contact 5-on-5 basketball activities, and reports are saying he could be back as soon as the end of the regular season, which I believe is on Sunday. Super excited to have Cat back in the mix. But what really matters is this.
Oh, man. Now, this one, you guys, this one truly is hot, scorching hot. Okay, in ancient Olympics, athletes actually performed naked. That's right. This was to achieve closeness to the gods and also help detox their skin through sweating. In fact, the word gymnastics comes from the ancient Greek words gymnasia, which means athletic training or exercise, and gumnos, which is naked.
So just naked exercise.
Yeah.
Sweet.
They need to bring that.
dangerous,
They got to
though,
bring
man.
that back.
Closer to God. I mean, it brings you closer to something, but not. I don't know about.
Yes, it does.
We could have used that excuse so many times.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get closer to God right now. Like, listen, honey, I'm just trying to praise the Lord right now.
Line's not ringing yet.
The Twins fell to the Dodgers 6-3 yesterday down at Target Field. The Twins are now 0-4 at home. Only managed to score more than 2 runs twice in the last 7 games. They'll be back in action this afternoon as they look to avoid the sweep when they close out their series with LA. First pitch around 12:10. But what really matters is this, Leber.
You guys ever been to the country of Hungary?
I have
heard of it?
actually, yeah.
You've heard
Budapest.
it? Okay.
Everyone over here has.
Well, you're lucky to be alive. Okay, the most famous female serial killer was a Hungarian countess, Elizabeth Bathory. She was accused of torturing and killing over 650 young women. Most of them were between the ages of 10 and 14.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
What a monster.
Well, people warn me about like scammers and stuff like that on dating apps out there. Like one of the listeners DM'd me and was just like, watch out, man. Like there's all these beautiful women on the dating apps and they try to lure people in and they murder people and rob them. And I'm like, well, consider me murdered and robbed, brother. I'm not going to not show up. I mean, come on. It's a dime piece. Then I guess I'm a sucker because I'm going to show up no matter what.
You're still here.
Exactly.
You survived.
I made it. They were pretty nice to me out there, actually. I think they thought that I was someone famous because people kept coming up to me, like shaking my hand, like kissing my hand, asking to take pictures with me. I don't know if they just don't get a lot of black people out there or they thought I was like ludicrous or something. Like,
You have a swagger to you, though.
I do.
That attracts people.
But it was like an abnormal amount of people to the point that I was wondering what the hell was going on.
Did you throw the boots?
I did throw some boots.
Good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Duh, bro.
Take advantage of it.
Use that to your advantage, then.
That's one way to find out who they think you are. What name does she scream?
Right, yeah. Good point. Yeah. Right at the moment, just Luda. That was what really matters. Max Fuller, Ben Leber, Mark Parrish, and John Creasel hanging out with you. We're going to do a little bit of news and nuggets next. This is the Power Trip morning show right here on The Fan.
The Fan.
Trip morning show coming at you live 7:02 on a Wednesday. Corey, Hockey, Saucy, and Halvey on their way to Sin City. Make sure to check out those shows tomorrow. They'll be back same time, same place, Thursday and Friday. But in the meantime, it's me, Max Fuller, Ben Leber, John Creasel, Mark Parrish, and Marney Galarno joining us. She's in his house. How's it going, Mark?
Oh, it's great. I'm feeling the love. I walked in here and immediately got ripped. What? Actually, Pear gave me a hug. He was nice to me. He doesn't excuse me.
Sounds like a Saturday night in college,
How's everybody doing? Great show so far.
Thanks,
Do you
Mark.
Really
mean
well
that?
done.
Do you
You
mean
know.
that? Why are your fingers crossed?
No fingers crossed.
Martin, did you hear I asked a basketball question?
I didn't hear it.
Harris is getting into it today.
I can see
Never
why,
mind.
man. I can see why.
Yeah, we got to talk to you about the Timberwolves here in a little bit. A historic night for Anthony Edwards. Karl Anthony Towns working his way back. Big game against the Nuggets tonight. A lot to talk about. But I don't know if you guys know this. Abbott almost didn't let us do the show today. I had to hem.
Why?
And I had to haw. You know, he wanted to broadcast the debut episode of Fan Outdoors XXX. It's the new podcast.
What is that?
Wait. What is XXX?
It's the new uncensored and uncut version
It's about mating season.
of Fan Outdoors. Captain Billy, I mean, he just lets loose like you've never heard him before, man. He's talking about cranks. He's talking about rods. He's talking about floppies.
It's a fishing show, Max.
What?
Listen, Marnes.
Turkey calling.
That's turkey calling. That's just the stuff I can say on air. If I even wrote down what Captain Billy wanted to talk about. I get arrested for indecent exposure in public right now. I mean, you
Big
got
bobbers.
we talked about Jerry Springer earlier. You remember Jerry Beads? Well, Captain Billy had his own Billy Beads, and you don't want to know what you have to do to get the Billy Beads. So, but I poked and hemmed and hawed, and Abbott let us here. So the inmates are running the asylum today. It's fun to be here with you guys. We got to do the news. It's sponsored by the St. Paul Saints. We got some funny headlines led by Marney Galarnar later on in the 8 o'clock hour. She didn't want to do it right now. She wanted to build it up a little bit, sell it a little bit.
It deserves some build-up.
It does. It does. And everybody participated in it. I think everybody in the room wrote jokes.
Really?
Yeah. I got a couple. I have
Even
three.
Mark Parrish,
Even Mark Parrish
who
did.
texted last night was like, "How do you find headlines?"
I'm not kidding you. I was like, headlines. Today's headlines. Taping in the date, and all that would come up was like National Enquirer stories from like 2019. I'm like, what?
Why wouldn't you just go to CNN or like?
Yeah, I tried that. Nothing but politics and boring crap. I wanted some fun
we
stuff.
Can't make jokes about
How do you
Gaza.
No one's
Well,
gonna
if
laugh.
you're really good at it, you can.
Palestine. Yeah, nothing was coming up with.
You can find a way to rip everything.
Yeah.
I want to be back here sometime.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Everybody knows that the eclipse took the world by storm the other day, but a Mexican news outlet is garnering ridicule because it accidentally aired a man's testicles when presenting viewers with viewer-submitted footage of Monday's solar eclipse. The program was covering the eclipse when its 3 anchors presented clips submitted by fans, and one of them just happened to be a guy putting his balls over the sun, and they didn't even notice. I mean, the two, if you watch the clip, it's really funny,
I've
actually.
seen it. 900 of my friends said that.
Asking if it was you.
He needs to trim that bag too. Like he needs to do some trimming of the head.
Landscaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of
A lot of solar flares on that thing. Yeah.
It's super funny, too, because the dude in the clip doesn't even notice. Like, the 2 women are absolutely horrified, and the dude has no idea until they probably tell him through the ears, like, hey, brother, that was somebody's balls.
Yeah, a couple of them looked like it brought back memories.
Yeah. One single tear in their eyes.
Yeah, one day I was just laying on the beach, and all of a sudden I was in the shade.
It's nice to know old Jack is still alive.
As long as none of them said, "Dad."
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah, you went way over the line there. So disgusting, Mark.
Yeah. You guys big fans of Game of Thrones? Anybody big fans of Game of Thrones out here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Jon Snow sequel to Game of Thrones isn't happening anymore, according to Kit Harington. He said there's no plans for it at the moment. It's off the table for the foreseeable future. They just couldn't find the right story, so they said they had to leave it for the moment. You guys disappointed?
It's probably best.
Yeah.
Well, there's a prequel that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, yeah.
Coming back in July, I think.
I don't know. Maybe you can't do both. And maybe sometimes when something is so good, it's best left untouched.
Agreed. Correct.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. That's why they
100% behind you, Marge.
OC back or had a spin-off of the OC.
You know what?
That's with a good thing.
The OC?
You just tied in Game of Thrones to the OC.
You got that sweet ass.
You know what I would be in favor of with Game of Thrones if they wanted to redo season 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick it,
The final season.
Just bring it back.
Yeah.
pick it up after 6, redo 7, like
a good
alternate
idea.
ending.
Oh, alternate
Yes.
ending.
Oh, that actually would
I
be a
think
good
it's like
idea.
saying re-air
No, the
seasons.
whole
People would watch.
rewrite it,
redo
reshoot it.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was,
I'm fine with that.
it was not good.
If you do a prequel or another spin-off of it, there are people that loved Game of Thrones that might not watch it. But if you did an alternate ending for season 7, everybody that liked Game of Thrones would watch it. It would be a way to guarantee viewers, I'm sure.
It was 8 seasons, so let me correct
okay,
myself.
So whatever, the last season.
Don't dip in there and do one of the middles. The final season,
Just change
season
the
8.
middle of the show. Not the
They
end
should
of the
redo
just the
season
middle.
4. That would have changed everything.
I just think it was such a fantastic show, and the final season did not live up to it.
Disappointing.
It was okay, but when you have a show that is fantastic,
You wanted more nudity? Is that what
okay
you're
is
saying?
not. For a change, there was actually enough.
It was kind of crazy during one of those. I think the last episode during the big final fight scene. I was like, all right, one of those people be dying. Like, they all can't take on 8 people at
Right.
once
Yeah.
and keep surviving. Like, come on. Like, I was actually voting for one of the main characters. Like, come on, kill him. Die. He doesn't deserve it. No one doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, they had no problem killing off other characters throughout the whole season.
And yet now, like, every single one of them is the toughest guy on
Yeah.
earth. Yeah, every single one of them is Chuck Norris, more or less.
Yeah, not everything needs to have a giant universe. I think we're kind of poisoned from the Marvel movies now, where everything has 6 movies, 6 TV shows,
Yeah.
a prequel, a sequel, and not everything needs that kind of treatment. Some things can just be fine the way it is.
This don't be poisoned from the Avengers.
Oh,
That's
there you
that's
go.
that's the key.
That's it.
And if you are, then we know what you've been up to. Speaking of sequels, the Joker 2 trailer premiered online yesterday. Joaquin Phoenix will be back, resuming his role as the Joker, and Lady Gaga will be his Harley Quinn. The rumors are, they didn't really show much of it in the trailer itself, but the rumors are that it's a musical. How do we feel about Joker
Wait,
2?
what?
No, it's not.
It's a musical.
With Joaquin. How could they?
What?
Wait,
It's
that
a
first
musical.
one was flat out disturbing.
Yeah, it's one of the
And
more
they're gonna
disturbing movies that's been in
spin
theaters.
it
in
into a
recent memory.
musical?
A musical. That was the rumor, the hot rumor for a long
Yeah.
time, and now the more that comes out about it, they're saying it's going to be a jukebox musical, about 15
That's-
different songs.
No
That's
thanks.
that's a complete 180.
I just think that's the weirdest directorial decision ever.
Like green lighted it, that one. I mean, if you bring that idea into the corner office, you think they'd be like, God, no.
Right. I get you have Lady Gaga and you want to take advantage of that, but
I'm sorry. I hope it fails. I mean,
Why?
Otherwise, people will keep doing that.
I know, we as a public have to teach them a lesson.
I don't know what's the deal. And they did the same thing with Mean Girls. They turned Mean Girls into a musical. Has any movie ever gotten better by getting turned into a musical? I don't think so. Not off the top of my head that
That's
I
what
can think
Broadway is for. That's where
Right.
Shrek and Lion King and
Next year, Saving Private Ryan will be a musical.
Oh, it's gonna be, that's exactly.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for
Black
that.
Hawk Down. 12 Years a Slave, the musical, coming soon to a theater near you. Did anybody see Conan O'Brien return to The Tonight Show last night? It was the first time since all of the kerfuffle when he got shuffled out of there for Jay Leno again. Apparently, he returned to The Tonight Show last night. I did not catch it. I know, Power Trip listeners and Corey and everybody are big fans of Conan and The Tonight Show, so I was wondering if anybody saw it last night.
I would have watched it had I known. I do like Conan. I think
Yeah,
he's
I love
pretty
Conan.
darn funny.
Yeah.
I wish he would have been able to just have that role. Like Fallon's all right, but Conan really deserved it, right?
I agree.
Yeah. I spent my night too many long hours last night trying to find headlines like had no time for anything else.
with the Timberwolves game on in the background.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of the Timberwolves, we're going to get into that, the Twins, the Wild, and more around the corner. This is the Power Trip Morning Show. The inmates are running the asylum this morning. Max Fuller, Ben Leber, John Creasel, Marney Galarnar, and Mark Parrish. Coming at you next. Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.
The Fan.
Power Trip Morning Show coming at you live and direct from 1600 Utica Ave. Max Fuller, Marney Gellner, Ben Leber, Mark Parrish, John Creasel, Rosie's probably on his way in. The inmates are running the asylum today. We're filling in while the boys head to Las Vegas. Marnes, I got a question for you.
What's
you
up,
too,
Max?
Leber, actually, because we started off the show this morning when I was getting ready. I saw a fight in the middle of the street outside my window, like 1 a.m. Have either of you, ever been into a fist fight before, like a street fight?
I have not.
Marn, it's probably going to take you longer to figure out which story you want to tell.
Right.
No, I am a person who hates controversy. I'm one of those. It could be verbal, it could be physical, and if I see people fighting, I get really nervous, upset, run away. I can't watch it. I'm not intrigued. I do not like controversy, especially physical controversy at all. So I've never been in a physical fist fight, Max. No.
I could see you throwing some hands, though, Mars.
Well, I've written a couple nasty emails that are still in my drafts, and I might send them.
Doesn't that feel good, though?
It does.
It does.
I've started doing that recently.
I will type it out on my phone, either somebody, whether it's on X or something like that, and I won't send it, but it feels good just to type it out. Just to see it. I'm like,
It feels so good to type it out.
Oh, that's a good one if I ever sent that thing.
And you just got your thumb hovering over the send button like you're going to do it, and you're never going to do it.
See, the problem with me is once I've decided to type it, I'm sending it. You're sending it. So I'm eating a lot of crow then, like, oh my God, did I actually say that to so-and-so or whatever? But in that moment, I'm right.
This has to be said right now.
You're right, has to be. And then, I learned that it didn't have to be said at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
50 Cent was in the house at Target Center last night, but Anthony Edwards was the real 50 Cent, dropping 51 points, a career high to help the Wolves beat the Washington Wizards. The Wolves overcame an early 21-point deficit, and Anthony Edwards finished with 30 points in the second half. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he really kept them in the game in the first half. He had an incredible first half. He just could not miss. He finished the game with 23 points, and Rudy had 19 and 16 rebounds, Marney Galarnar.
It was a great game, and I did not think we'd be saying that after the first quarter because, man, it was ugly to start with. The Wolves gave up 44 points to the Wizards in the first quarter. And it's tough because you have a team that's not only totally out of it, but is record-wise one of the worst in the entire NBA and had an injury list that was like 15 guys long, including Tyus Jones, one of our favorites. So you know that going in, it's just human nature. It's hard to fight it. Even as a broadcaster, it's like, okay, let's just get this one over with, which is not the right attitude, Max. It's not the way to go.
No.
But it's human nature, and the Timberwolves kind of felt that in the first quarter last night, and then in the second half, it got turned. And Ant was behind it.
Did you say that on the broadcast?
He can, when he gets locked in and he starts feeling a rhythm and he starts feeling the crowd, it is so much fun. When he gave that, when he put the 5-0 up and was like dancing with the crowd and like, give me more. Oh, it's just, there's so much happiness and joy and genuineness in him when he is like that. It is a joy to watch him.
It's so much fun because he has not a lot of players can have the goofy silliness of Anthony Edwards, but also that ultra competitive side. You usually only see one or the other. Like you never saw Kobe joking around in the middle of a serious game or anything like that. But Anthony Edwards is just as competitive, but he still knows how to have fun and especially get the crowd back into it. It's just so much fun to watch.
He feeds off of that, no doubt, and that's one of the reasons why home court advantage is so important to this team specifically. We have had some great crowds at Target Center where it has felt like even on a Monday night, Tuesday night, last night, there's a party going on that people are just like, just give me something. I'm ready to go. Because they have been starving for a good team, a competitive team, and now they've got one and they're showing up every night. And
even
people
against
like
the
Anthony
Wizards
Edwards are thriving off of it. So we need to have home court advantage for as far as we can go in the playoffs because it really does feed this team.
I'm excited. It's going to be so awesome. I've never been to a Wolves playoff game.
Really?
So I think this year I need to do it.
Yeah,
I just want to see, because to your point, even against the Wizards, it looked like the place was rocking last night.
Yeah.
And you can't help but be like, I want to be in that building.
And then you see something like Anthony Edwards with 51 points. And you just think it's going to be a Tuesday night against the Wizards. Okay, I might go, I might not. And then you see something spectacular.
Well, and how about, we didn't even mention it the first time we talked about the Wolves, Marnie. How about that ejection of Naz Reid? Is that not the most bogus ejection that you've ever seen in the NBA? I could not believe that he actually, I missed it. I was cooking and then I'm like, what did he get ejected for? And I saw it and they acted like he threw like a flying elbow off the top rope or something. I could not believe that Naz actually that the Wizards got that call of anything.
I would have agreed with a flagrant one for sure.
Right.
I'm totally fine with them looking at it. It was an elbow in the neck, but Nas didn't swing his elbow. It wasn't like a Yusuf Nurkic when Draymond Green got him earlier this season.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a wild swing, and that was an ejection and a suspension. This was Nas just like kind of pressing his elbow into the neck, and I would have definitely given it a flagrant 1. I was really surprised by a flagrant 2. And when the refs come up to the mic and give a little explanation, he said something like the intent, like it looked like Nas had clear intent or something like that, where it was beyond
malicious.
aggressive. Yeah,
Well, according to the refs. According to the refs, they think it looked more. It was there was intent, and it was like malicious.
Yeah, and you could tell it was like Nas was trying to send a message.
Yeah, it wasn't an accident.
It was not an accident,
but it wasn't malicious either.
And he didn't swing. It was just like pressing his elbow. It was kind of a bizarre play. I think Nas handled it super well. He just stood up, left the court. Like, what are you going to do? But you could throw more of a fit. You could come at the refs more verbally, like what? And he just, he was gone.
Although that does sound a little bit like two brothers when they're fighting, much like my 2 boys. Like, he was choking me. Yeah. No. I wasn't choking him. I just was putting my hands on his throat.
I just didn't want him to breathe anymore.
I just barely pressed down. It wasn't a choke.
I was giggling, listening, not having seen it. And like, yeah, there was an intent. I mean, the elbow was in the jugular. There's something in his jugular. It kind of sounds.
Yeah.
I was just trying to limit his oxygen a little.
Yeah. I was just sending a gentle message.
It really does sound interesting how you're making something elbow to someone's jugular sound okay.
Yeah, so pedestrian.
The definition of a flagrant 2 in the NBA, there are 2 words that trigger it: unnecessary and excessive. And there's interpretation in both, but unnecessary and excessive.
And you're saying that you don't think it was
2.
unnecessary and excessive.
I didn't think it was excessive.
Yeah, it was
I thought
unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
But definitely not.
And that's a 1.
Did they ask the guy that got hit? Maybe he was like, that was necessary. I
asked for it.
I asked for it. Yes. But I want to know who sits in Mark Lowry's and A-Rod's seats. Is that where 50 was sitting?
I couldn't tell if 50 was in A-Rod's seat last night or Charlie Swanson from Lexus of Wayzata. Because our buddy Charlie was on the other side. He was next to Chris Finch. He was on the bench, the team bench side last night. And Fitty was either in Charlie's seat or in A-Rod's seat.
Charlie, text me to let me know what's going on here. Was Fitty in your seats or not?
Have you got a chance to meet Fitty? Yeah, I mean, you guys seem like you're on a first name basis. You're calling him Fitty now, So have you had a chance to meet him yet?
I said hi last night, and he just says hi back.
Did you say,
no idea who I am.
Sir, I love your catalog of music. I
do like some Fitty songs.
Did you start reciting the lyrics?
You occasionally find me in the club, bottle full of Bob.
Mama, I got what you need, baby.
Yes. Why can't he be our next 20%? Why couldn't he put us over the top?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
He could make diss songs about all our rivals. Yeah. Like, imagine the start of the playoffs and 50 Cent comes out with a Nikola Jokic diss. Like, how awesome would that be, man?
I don't know how much money he's making from his alcohol sales. Like he has, I think it's called Spire Spirits.
I think it is.
And that's the official spirits of the Timberwolves. So that's why he's sort of partnered in, and that's why we see him occasionally. He's not just a fan who's showing up. Well, it's a business venture.
2015, which was a long time ago, he did file for Chapter 11. So hopefully he's back.
I think he's back.
Yeah.
I think he's back.
I think he's back too. 50 Cent at the game. Anthony Edwards, the real 50 Cent, though, dropping a 50 piece. Perry, the Wild were officially eliminated from playoff contention yesterday. They lost to the Avs 5-2. They'll miss the playoffs for just the second time since 2013. Overall, how would you view this season? How will this season be remembered by you?
A learning season. They went through a lot of adversity. It was a tough year. I'm sure Ben can attest. attest. I'm sure it happens across the board in pro sports. Sometimes good teams just have bad years. They can't figure it out. They just don't get right. The coaching change, the Kaprizov, Boldy, the two big guns starting off a little bit slow, which didn't help the team. With the salary cap issues, with the buyouts still lingering, they have no white horse, no one coming in for injury issues, and you lose your captain, Jared Spurgeon, for more or less the whole season. Brodeen's in and out of the lineup. Just injuries that it doesn't matter who the teams are, that it's tough to deal with, and especially when we don't have any help coming unless it's a young guy in the minors that they could call up. And even at that point, they had to be careful because of the salary cap issues. There was behind the scenes issues. It just was a tough year. And to be honest with you, it happens, and I kind of wish they would have maybe been a little bit worse just to get a little bit better draft pick, to be honest with you.
All right, Perry, I know that this salary cap thing has been hamstringing this team for the last couple of years.
Correct.
Right? And it seems like it's always the talking point about it's what's holding this team back from getting better. Let's just play a little bit of a hypothetical, though. So this offseason, let's say that they're not in salary cap hell. Let's say they have money to spend.
Yep.
What is the first position? I'm not asking maybe the player you'd go after, but where do they need to get better? Because it does seem like a lot of their youth and the guys that they do have are young talents that they have in the talent pool. But you need a veteran in some spots.
Number one center. Bad. Number one center. Eriksson Ek's done a great job filling in. He is a number 2, number 3 center. That's just where he slotted. Marco Rossi has stepped up awesome. He's been playing as a number 1 center. Still not where he should be slotted. He's shown that he could fit into probably be a very, very, very good number 2. He's shown he can handle an 82-game season. His offense didn't slip that much. It did here and there, what you'd expect for a rookie. But our most 2 consistent players from day one have been Brock Faber and Marco Rossi this year. But no, down the middle. In the NHL, you win down the middle, starting with goaltender. You need a goaltender. You need a number 1 defenseman. You need a number 1 centerman. And right now, the goaltending, it was a bit of an issue this year. That being said, with Gustafsson, if we keep Marc-Andre Fleury around for another year, we got this Jesper Wallstedt. So that moving forward in the future, hypothetically should be taken care of, right? We've got Brodeen, we've got Spurgeon, now we've got Brock Faber. So we've got young defensemen, we've got the decor. If it's healthy, we have a great decor. It's one of the best decors in the league, especially in the Western Conference. Unfortunately, we ran into injuries issues. What we do not have is a bona fide number 1 centerman. And unfortunately, they don't grow on trees, right? It's a quarterback.
So you can't, even with our salary cap situation, you can't just go out and find maybe a tier 2 guy in free agency and spend some money there.
Without looking, they're probably available, but no, we can't afford them right now. We just, to go out and get a number 1 centerman right now, we just can't have that. And that's why.
You're sounding like the Twins right now.
Well, but we've got something to build on here a little bit. And we've got we have a
foundation.
And we have an ownership that absolutely is going to spend. We have an ownership, Craig. We have got awesome ownership. That's one of the things that's made me most excited about this. What's so important in pro sports, you've got to have an ownership behind you that's willing to spend. Craig absolutely wants to win a Stanley Cup. He's shown that. So that's there. So when it does open up, we've got the right guy in place, Billy Guerin. He's won a Stanley Cup not only as a player, he's been in the organization, in the brass with Pittsburgh as an assistant general manager. He knows what it takes. And right now he understands that it's about building that core. Where is the core? Do we have the core that can win a playoff round? So that's where we become a destination, right? So we want to build it to the fact that where we've got Kaprizov, we've got Boldy, we've got Faber, we've got these young guys that are exciting, that they're fun, up and coming teams that are going to watch, players around the league, free agents that are going to come up. We've got that depth in the last year where Hartman, we've had guys that have stepped up to shown where we have that core. You want to have that literally organization where that number 1 centerman that's becoming a free agent, when Patrick Kane might be a little bit past his prime, not saying that he can't do his thing, but when these guys do come up, that's where they go. Like, you know what? Minnesota's a really, really good team. They are a playoff team. They are missing me. That's what they're missing, and that's what we want to build.
See,
this
that's
year
what I'm
was
hoping
an off
for.
year.
I'm hoping somebody in the offseason's like,
this is where it is.
Not that they necessarily take a pay cut,
No.
But if they're looking to do two different teams, let's say it's not a number one, you're not the number one guy, not the number one free agent. But if there's a number two that can come in and just reshuffle the deck, maybe take some responsibility and a little ice time off of some other guys so they can just play fresh the whole season. Hopefully, if it comes down to like two teams, they look at Minnesota and like, look at what they have here. And I want to play with Kirill. I want to play with this defensive backfield here. This is where I want to go with this organization. Hopefully that happens.
100%. And like you said, it doesn't have to be Nathan McKinnon. It doesn't have to be the top guy because we already have our superstar. We already have Kaprizov. We just need that one missing supporting cast piece. That Oscar-winning supporting cast guy. That's who Billy Barron's looking
Paul
for.
Giamatti. We got to find Paul Giamatti. Can we call up Paul Giamatti?
We need Giamatti.
We need Giamatti on the ice.
Energy Center.
He's got a good long offseason now to get in shape. Let's do it, Paul.
I've always said that guy's got a hockey body.
Oh, yeah, total hockey body.
Perry, you're familiar with Marc-Andre Fleury and the prank wars that he's involved in, correct?
One of the greatest all-time pranksters.
Well,
and NHL's got some legendary pranksters.
And he pulled off a pretty big one. Did you see what he did to Brandon Duhaime, former teammate Brandon Duhaime, yesterday?
He got help. I mean, you don't pull that one off all by yourself. That is for darn sure.
He put his truck on cinder blocks, chained it to a fence, and then put a whole bed of flowers and a for sale sign on the dashboard. I mean, that's next level. I don't know what Brandon Duhaime did to him, but that's next level pranking right there.
He came at him. Don't go after a Hall of Famer, especially when he's a Hall of Famer at pranks. That is spectacular. It's one of the best I've heard. The only other one I heard that was close to that, the extent of that, was Dallas. Matt Niskanen, Minnesota boy from up in the sticks. I can't remember exactly small town. Sorry, Matty. Great guy. Just small town kid. Drove like just this little piece of crap Toyota Camry, and his whole rookie year. Like the guy's like, it's okay now.
Yeah.
You're an NHLer now.
Yeah.
You can
spend a little money.
Nope. Just kept driving. The guys kept giving him crap. So Dallas got Madonna, Marty Turco, got enough guys there that have made enough money. They literally took it into a body shop and they had it painted like a NASCAR. Like got his number on it, number 5 on the side of it, black and green, Dallas Stars logo on the hood, everything. They're like, fine, if you're going to drive it, you're driving this. Typical Matty Niskanen, Minnesota boy. Okay. Drove it for the rest of the year. Didn't care less. Like driving in the NASCAR. That's the only one that I've heard that's gone to the extent. I mean, chaining your car. The whole thing about that, too, that I love.
And everything.
That's a game day. Yeah. And, so then you've got your routines down, Ben. You were talking about, right? Like, I remember my rookie year when I got traded from Florida, I came back my first game. My gloves got filled with shaving cream. That was the biggest pain in the... I can't believe they messed with me on a game day. They messed with my routine. They chained his car to a fence, for God's sakes. He's got lunch to get to.
Yeah, and they said he just...
Are you kidding me?
He just left it there, too. They said he's just been getting rides from teammates. What can you do?
There's nothing you can do, right? Enterprise, let's go.
Did you ever pull any pranks back in your day, Ben? Do you ever see... What is, like, the best prank you've ever seen pulled?
It was probably more in college. So the best part, my best experience in college was my last year. Finished up my eligibility of playing in the fall, but it was my 5th year. I'd graduated in December, but I was still technically on scholarship until the end of that year. So it was 3 to 4 months of just basically debauchery with the other guys that I graduated with in December, getting ready for the combine and all this other stuff. So, let's see. My buddy stole my dog one day.
Stole the dog?
That's a felony.
Feels like a little over the line.
That's not a prank.
I was not real happy about that. So I got home. The dog was gone. And I thought, no big deal. I thought my wife, girlfriend at the time, had the dog, and I'm like, that's fine. She's got him. She
wasn't
have
gone,
him.
thankfully.
Yeah, she wasn't gone, thankfully. Anyway, that got me real emotional. And then I'm not sure the exact timeline. And then I retaliated by putting 2 bags of dog poop in his car. One is a decoy.
Oh, the decoy poop.
Yeah, the
That's
decoy
next level.
poop. And the one under his driver's seat. He found the one under his driver's seat, but could not figure out how to like. He had no idea why his car was still reeking because I hid a second bag in there. He actually took a girl on a date and had to try to fumigate his car with a whole bunch of like potpourri and stuff, and it just never
makes it worse.
So then they retaliated. I was at dinner one night, and they put my Isuzu Rodeo, they took off the wheel, left it on the jack, put all the lug nuts in the same bag of dog poop that he found in his car, and then smeared the dog poop all over my windshield.
Oh my god!
So then I had to put my tire back on with my hands caked full of dog crap with lug nuts. That's kind of where I think that's pretty much where it ended.
Yeah. That sounds like boot camp for a NASCAR. Tire change.
Yeah, you're running out of things to test your crew with, so it's like, all right, let's see how you handle this.
Yeah.
What about
scenario
you,
number 3? The lug nuts are buried in dog.
I know.
We didn't do anything nearly that gross.
We'd always do pranks in the military. I think the best one I ever heard was one I wasn't involved in. Tim Nelson, when he was in his active duty unit, if someone went on leave or on a weekend pass and forgot to lock their room, secure their door, which in the military you have to secure your gear.
Oh yeah,
always.
yeah. It's like a dorm room. You gotta you gotta secure your stuff.
Correct. They'd call out Deuces Wild, and that meant everybody in the whole company, so you're talking 100, 150 people, would take dumps in their toilet and not flush.
Oh, my God.
And so you'd have to use your trenching, your E-tool to dig it out. And they would even, like, when that thing was so full and heaping over the top, like the scene from Jurassic Park, they would move the couch, put newspaper down, take dumps on that, and then put the couch over it.
Oh, my God.
So then even after they get the toilet cleaned out, they'd have a gal back or whatever, and they'd be like... And it was because they didn't look under the couch that Deuces Wild was under there, too. So, yeah, Deuces Wild.
Dear
Brilliant.
God.
It's hilarious.
Dookie is just like the nuclear bomb of pranks, basically. Once you cross that line.
Military, that's high protein, high fiber, not enough hydration, probably drinking the night before.
This is maybe why women should rule the world. I think
you guys got a lot of poo in your pranks.
We come up with some really dumb ideas when we get together as a bunch of dudes.
And it all involves
what can we do with
I once pledged the floor of our next door neighbors. That was our prank. Nobody pooped on anything. We put pledge on the floor, so when they came in their socks, it was slippery. We got wild.
Wow, you guys were
troublemaker.
You guys were cray.
Yeah, well, guess what? We smelled good.
You better keep that door locked. Deuces Wild.
Deuces Wild. I'm going to start using that.
Oh.
And Deuces are wild because Mark Rosen is in the building. He will join us next. We'll talk about the Twins, do some Vikings news, and more. Power Trip, a morning show right after this on The Fan.
The Fan.